What is going on, everybody? You're here with us live on the Locker Room Rant. With me, as always, I got John V to my side, Nico down below. My name's Tony, and welcome to the Locker Room Rant. Hit subscribe down below if you haven't before. Give us a like or a dislike. You know, we're cool with either one. Leave us some comments. Let us know if there's topics you want to get at, want us to get at. And let us know if you want to come on the show live. We're all about bringing guests on and having a good time. Slow time in sports, but Kevin Durant gave us a little fire in our asses over this last week. So I definitely want to get to KD. I'm cool with starting the show and going for 2 hours just on KD. I have a lot of thoughts on this whole thing. You guys cool with starting with KD?
Yeah, we'll start with KD and just generally talk about all the free agency news. Our thoughts on that.
Okay.
All right.
Well, go ahead, Nick. Start us off, buddy.
So KD has decided once again that he wants a trade. He's like in the conversation with a couple other guys who always do this. They get into position, then they become unhappy real quick, and then they want out. With KD, he's kind of like James Harden and LeBron to me. I'd say lesser against LeBron because LeBron usually has his shit a little more planned out than KD and James Harden do. But they're just not leaders on their teams. They go on teams. They could be hired guns. They could be reasons why you win. But they're never going to be leaders because they can't face the fire when times get hard.
I don't even know what you just said.
Yeah.
Times get tough. They can't lead their teams. This is KD, James Harden, LeBron.
Wait a minute. I thought we were talking about KD wanting out of Brooklyn. Do you know why he wants out of Brooklyn?
Enlighten me.
I'm asking you.
Enlighten me. I know why he wants out of Brooklyn. Because the teams, it didn't work out and he wants out. I don't give a shit
didn't work out.
What his particular reason is.
So, do you know why he went to Brooklyn? And who he went to Brooklyn with?
To win a championship with
forget about Harden. Harden saw the writing on the wall. He got out.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And now KD wants out.
Because Kyrie is a cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were understanding. All that other spiel had nothing to do with it. I just wanted to know if you agree that KD wanted out because Kyrie is a problem.
Yeah, I know that.
All right. So I just, if I'm the GM in Brooklyn, I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm asking myself, what went wrong here? Like, how did I go from James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant to literally all three of them wanting
Simmons?
You
went from Kyrie, Durant, and Harden,
yes,
to Ben Simmons.
That's correct.
All right, fam. I'm bringing on a guest today from the West Coast, 49er Media. My man, coming in hot.
What's up, guys? I'm super excited to be, on your show. I really like, what you guys do. So happy to be here.
What's going on, buddy?
How do you say your name?
Anshul.
Anshul.
Anshul, let everyone know where they can find you, buddy.
Right. So you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at 49er Media, as well as on YouTube. I have a podcast strictly on the 49ers First Take Niners. Is the podcast.
There we go.
All right. Nice.
And a very handsome following on Instagram. Hell of a lot of work you put into it, buddy.
I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say a handsome guy, which he's also a handsome guy. He also is a handsome guy. So Ansel, tell us about your thoughts on what are you seeing about the 49ers? I know our non-49er fans that watch the show get really pissed off when they first tune on the show, and we're talking about 49ers because it happens almost every week. But
Yeah.
go ahead and tell us what you're seeing on this off season. Where you see your team, if they're going to be better than last year, worse than last year. I want your professional intake on this.
See, my thing is, I think the best case scenario is that they have the same record, just because you have a guy, Trey Lance, coming in who's obviously very, very unexperienced in this league. Hadn't played a ton in college either, so it's really, the roster around him. You have playmakers, everywhere. You have that elite defense. I mean, I'm really excited to see that whole secondary. Like, we improved that cornerback room really, really, strong. I think it's very, very strong, and is going to be one of the most underrated secondaries in the league. But I think it really depends all on Trey Lance pretty much, and how the offensive line plays too, because the offensive line's definitely shaky. We lost Alex Mack in retirement. To me, it seems like we have a guy in Jake Brendo who seems like the Niners have really liked. But I don't know. The interior offensive line definitely has question marks.
Were you a Jimmy G hater, or where were you on that?
My thing is, it's like whoever's at quarterback, whoever's has the keys, I'm rooting for them. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously makes most Niner fans mad, including myself, with his play. But if he's the guy, if he's the one being the quarterback, I'm gonna support.
All right, so Anshul, I'm a pariah in 49er fandom because I'm very critical on a lot of things. I'm going to ask you the same question I do to all 49ers fans that come on here and we talk about the subject. Do you think that, and we also have a rule on this where we don't mention 10's name in person. So do you think that quarterback who shall not be named is worse than Trey Lance? Do you think Trey Lance is better than him?
Well, Trey Lance has a much higher ceiling, I'd say, for sure, than
right now.
Right now, ooh, I can't say that, because right now, I mean, Trey Lance has played in a few games, but right now Trey Lance, practice training camp hasn't started quite yet. It starts soon, but right now I can't say.
You've given me the most logical answer that anyone has ever given me to that question. Normally when I ask that question, they go, "No, Trey's better." And then I follow that up with, "Well, what do you think the 49ers' success is going to be?" And usually they're like, "Oh, well, sometimes they go Super Bowl," and I'm like, "Okay, well, that makes sense because you think he's better. Obviously, better quarterback play. You guys just went to the NFC Championship. You're going to make the Super Bowl." I understand that. I don't think that's going to be the case. But then some people will say, "No, Trey is better, but you can't expect much from him."
Yeah, my thing is, I think Trey Lance is the better quarterback. It's just I haven't seen it yet. That's the thing.
I think he has a higher.
You haven't
ceiling,
seen it. Yeah.
But he could also have a lower floor. We don't know that yet because we haven't really seen him in a lot of action.
Yeah.
John, ask Anshul some questions, because me and Nick, all we could talk about is number 10. And everybody is over that topic right now. So you ask him insider stuff that me and Nick, since me and Nick don't watch the same game as you guys, you ask him questions that you think should be answered.
Look, media and I see things pretty much the same. Okay, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, Bay Area Baller agrees. Trey will be better than Jimmy. Okay. I don't know that it will happen right out of the gate, but I do believe that Trey Lance offers intangibles that Jimmy didn't. It's not a comparison, because Jimmy was a veteran in this league, And Trey is obviously coming in to try to lead his first starting season. So to say that Trey will be better than Jimmy, it's more of a preference and personal opinion than it is fact, because nobody really has any of it and any fact and proof other than what they saw in a few games. We saw Trey can be versatile, and he does have a bigger arm than Jimmy. So now it's just, look, there's gonna be a lot of run. There's gonna be a lot of the run game, you know.
Goodbye, motherfucker!
We just can't. We just can't get this. We can't get this ruled down. You can't say the J. You can't say the other letter. All you can say is 10. So Anshul. So you were talking about that cornerback room. Every person that we've had on and we talked about this team is really hyping up this cornerback room. And if you ask me, an outsider looking in, which I watched every 49er game last year, I would say that was definitely their weak spot last year. And if they could shore up that cornerback room, just that secondary in general, the sky's the limit for that defense, and the sky's the limit for the team. So talk about who you like the best on the defensive backside.
So, I mean, you have Jimmy Ward, who's been the longest tenured Niner now on the team. And so, I mean, Jimmy Ward, you know, very, very underrated. I mean, he keeps getting better, in my opinion. And I think he definitely, you know, needs to get the credit. Even, you know, I know he talked a lot of smack to him, like about the Rams, you know, when they got Matthew Stafford. But I think Jimmy Ward just really like the guy as a person as well. Just from, you know, like the media and how he talks. And so I think Jimmy Ward, like I keep saying it, I think hopefully he makes the Pro Bowl someday. But other than that, I think that the second, there's still a weakling, I'd say, in the secondary as a whole, which is the other safety spot. You know, we've seen some rumblings of Talanoa Hufanga, who seems like the guy right now, but obviously we still have training camp happening, so we have to see.
He's going to be fire, media.
So we have to see what, you know, Tarvarius Moore does.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and George Odom. So I mean, that's kind of a question for me, but I think personally Talanoa Hufanga will be taking it over. It's just the coverage skills is the biggest question, because that was definitely the biggest thing coming out of college and even last year. Last year he had some really good flashes. Obviously, we know the special teams that he, you know, was a big part of in the Packers, you know, playoff game, divisional round. But then I think that cornerback room, Charvarius Ward, biggest free agent signing by the Niners this offseason. Still a young guy, a guy that's been, you know, improving every single year since he's been in this league, an undrafted guy. And so I really like his ball skills, you know, the yak for the ball, physical guy too. So I'm really excited by Charvarius Ward. I know a lot of Niner fans in general are excited about him. And then, I mean, Jason Verrett, you brought back, that was like the cake, the top, you know, the icing on the cake type of signing. But I really think, you know, the depth just really has improved as a whole. I you know, knocking on wood, we won't have to bring guys in like Josh Norman back on this team.
Well, here's
we shopped everyone. Dude, we shopped everyone. We brought everyone in that could remotely play the position, and they were terrible. I mean, terrible is putting it nicely.
No.
Here's what I notice about a lot of 49ers fans. I said this on multiple occasions. I think they get hyped up prematurely for some of their players that they get. And like, so in the corner, and this is the reason why I bring this up for the cornerback room, because cornerback, the position cornerback, it's kind of a little bit of a touchy position in the sense that you have a lot of guys who have really good years 1 year, and then they kind of go back to being kind of mediocre. There's a couple cornerbacks in the league that are just good all the time. And those are your premier guys. Those are your guys that get paid a crap ton of money. Those are your guys that every team wants. Like Verrett has not, to me, proven that he's an elite cornerback. And neither has Charvarius Ward. Charvarius Ward had a good year last year. I'll give him that. Can he produce on that? Can he increase on that production? I'm not sure. I think the 49ers cornerback room is a lot better than it was last year, but I'm not necessarily sure that you guys aren't bringing back old man Norman.
Well, you got to think also.
Josh Norman will never come back.
Yeah, because I think the Niners, yeah, they have a ton of young guys that are like, especially outside the starters, like, other than Emmanuel Mosley and Jason Verrett. Yeah, there's a lot of young guys. Some guys who are kind of on the roster bubble, like Diamador Lenore, but I think just...
I heard a lot about Diamador Lenore last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, there's a lot of young guys too, and so hopefully just them seeing a guy like Charvarius Ward, again, who's still young, that will help them too. Emmanuel Mosley too. And you brought up a good point, that they just, like the Niners, they haven't really, done too well in terms of improving the cornerback room, right? Like it's been really, really long time, and so I think this is definitely the best cornerback room I've seen in a while.
I think it's definitely improved.
Yeah,
they're gonna be lights out. You guys have no doubt.
There's a lot of people say if you have a good defensive line that gets after the quarterback, you can get away with suspect secondary because it makes your secondary look better when you have that amazing of a pass rush. So that tells you how much garbage that secondary was last year because they looked terrible even with a great defensive line and pass rush. So bringing in those names, those guys that have proven that they could do it on a high level, I think they'll be able to eat in that backfield, in that secondary with that pass rush coming down. And I think they're going to look unbelievable compared to what we saw last year. But that's an outsider looking in. I have no idea who these guys are. I know Tre'Davious Ward, Verrett. I know those names, but I don't know those undercover people. But just bringing in those names, I mean, with that pass rush, they should be able to really excel way past what they were last year. It was almost like last year I was just waiting for the big play to happen. Me and Nick would call each other and we'd be laughing on the phone like, wow, the secondary did it again. The secondary did it again. I'd be texting John, secondary sucks. And that's really the only hole in that team last year.
Yeah.
The wide receivers did good. Running backs are always solid. The defensive line was amazing. The only thing that was missing was the secondary. And now it sounds like, they went out, they addressed that. They must have noticed as well. You got the secondary improved. You got Trey Lance coming in. I'm sure it's going to look like a lot different of an offense. Even the play calling is going to be a lot different. It's going to be very a more explosive offense and fun offense.
There you
watch.
go. There you go. Explosive. I like it.
Yes.
What I don't like about the situation in San Francisco this year is how much they overachieved last year. In my opinion, they overachieved last year. How far they went into the playoffs, and how many wins and losses they had, I feel like it was an overachievement, and I feel like that sets up the kid for some type of disappointment from the fans' point of view. Because you talking to you tonight, you're a realist. You get it. Like, okay, this kid, he's raw. I'm not expecting him to come in and win the MVP this year, but there are people that are expecting this kid to step in, win the MVP, take them to a Super Bowl. and we've seen it in our chat that we have. There are people that feel that way. John's more of a realist, you know. He expects big things from this guy, but at the same time, John realizes that it's this kid's second year in the league. Pump the brakes. Everyone else has to step up and rally around this kid to have that type of success. Go ahead, Nick.
So I'm going to ask you another question, Anshul. This is another question that I kind of ask all 49ers fans. Do you think that trade was a smart one? The trade to get Trey and kind of break up the gears a little bit.
Because
you guys have had success.
Yeah.
When he who shall not be named plays, you guys have had success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, with number 10, right? We've seen what he can do, and it's that in the playoffs he has been awful. We haven't won a single playoff game because of him. Mm-hmm. Like, there's been a few regular season games, you know, especially in 2019, where he did have some games where he kind of had to be the guy just because some of the other, you know, defense wasn't playing as good, or maybe some of the other offensive pieces clicking. But we've seen the limit of what number 10 is. And so right now we can't really say, was it a smart move? Because, again, we have to see what Trey Lance looks like. But right now, I'd say it's 50-50.
All right, Nick and I have talked about this before, Ansel, and we're gonna move away from this for a little bit, but I think the 49ers' biggest concern right now is offensive line, right? Particularly the right side, right? Because we still don't know what we got with what we've got. So we'll address that. But when it comes to the quarterback position in Trey Lance, we can trust that Kyle will utilize Trey in the smartest, most effective way possible and efficiently, right? So you could do that with number 10. You could be efficient, and you had to be conservative, right? So so you know that he's not a mobile human being. You know that he stands there and takes the hits. It's different with Trey, because Trey's not going to stand there like a statue. He's not going to stand there like a dartboard, right? He's going to move, and he's going to make up for it with his legs, right? There were many situations where we needed to get 3 and 4 yards, 5 yards, and we don't have to rely on a short slant or a screen, or, you know, running Elijah Mitchell. You know, we can make the teams play us on. We can make defenses play us honest, right?
Yep.
They're not going to stack the box. They're not going to force us to throw the deep ball because they know that, you know, number 10 can't throw the deep ball. They're going to stay put. They're going to be on their heels, right? We're going to keep them guessing. And that's essentially my most excitement about Trey Lance, because Kyle could scheme up Nick Mullins different with CJ Beathard, and then get back to number 10. What could he do with Trey? That's what we don't know yet, and we're excited to see. So essentially, anybody with a level head will tell you, yes, do we expect Trey to excel in this offense? We do. Do we expect an MVP season this season? Absolutely not. Do we expect a Super Bowl this season? Absolutely not. But I do believe we will win, and it will be creatively. We were restricted. We have used number 10 every possible way that we could. Like Kyle has masked his deficiencies every which way, right?
Yep.
To the point now where the league's not fooled. Like, the league knows what this young man's deficient at. So regardless of whether he's a 49er or he moves on, I always tell these guys, like, I truly look forward to seeing number 10 move on to another squad. I want to see how he does outside of a Shanahan offense, right?
So
aren't you curious? Right?
Yeah, because I'm like,
I
don't think Jimmy's gonna be. My bad.
You're a guest. Yeah, it doesn't apply to you.
It doesn't count. Doesn't count for you.
My number 10. My bad though. Yeah, I've been questioning that too this offseason, because obviously he hasn't been traded, but it seems like we still want to trade him, right? And so I've been wondering the same thing, John. I'm like, I don't think Jimmy's going to be close to what he has looked like on the Niners to another team, because you're right. Shanahan, his scheme, his schematics, he was able to hide so much of what Garoppolo couldn't do.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's exciting because now you're not sprinkling in Trey Lance. You're not sprinkling him in the way he did those few games, right?
Yeah.
This offseason will be tailor-made to Trey Lance and the run game and how the two complement one another, right?
Yes.
Bay Area Baller asks, which of the second-year QBs will look best after this season? That's a good question. So let's go, Tony. Which of the year 2 QBs do you feel will look the best?
I'm not a believer of Justin Fields. I think Trevor Lawrence got off to a rough start last year. They went out and got him a few more weapons. I think Travis Etienne's going to be back in the backfield. They got a new coach that's not an idiot. Let's see here. Mac Jones, he's always. I don't think he's ever going to look bad in New England. It's actually hard to look bad there. Which one am I forgetting? I know there's Lance Fields, Lawrence, Mac Jones,
Davis Mills.
No, not Davis Mills. What's his face? The
Zach
Jets.
Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Oh, we didn't talk about Zach Wilson yet.
You know what? Give me Zach Wilson. Give me Zach Wilson.
I was going to agree. I
They
think Zach Wilson.
they got fucking weapons all around that guy now.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to put up points. They're gonna be airing the ball out, I'm sure. They went out. They signed a bunch of guys. They drafted a bunch of guys. I think that's going to be a fun team to watch, young and fun. I'll take. I think just based on the weapons around him, man, I can't do that. I can't take a Jets guy. Give me Trey Lance. I'll go Lance, Wilson, Lawrence, Mac Jones.
Well,
Zach-
does
Zach
Trey
Wilson.
technically count as a second-year quarterback?
Yes.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna, because
He's in
I
his
thought
second
maybe
year.
I thought maybe Bay Area was talking about the guys who have started. In other
No.
words, your Zach Wilsons, your Justin Fields, your
Trey has started too. You got to realize this. Trey has
Trey's a
started.
second-year quarterback.
He started
second-year
football
quarterback.
games.
Look, I just assumed that Bay Area Baller was talking about a franchise quarterback that these organizations ran with. If we're talking about Trey Lance,
Bay
in the
Area
mix,
Ballers meant that, he'd be wrong. Because Trey Lance is a second-year quarterback.
Yeah, because he did start a few games. So
Okay,
you
all right,
technically
Well,
have
he
to-
didn't start. He got it. He has a year and tutelage in the system. It doesn't even matter if you do start or not. It doesn't just because you don't play. It doesn't mean it's not your second year.
Well, technically,
right.
in the NBA, you could still win Rookie of the Year your second year if you didn't play at all.
That's true.
However,
all right, so
He
so
started football
I'm obviously biased. I'm going to pick Trey Lance, right? But if I put my bias aside and I just looked at the guys that we've already seen start, I believe that Zach Wilson has the best second year, right? Because I don't know how many times Trey's going to air out the ball this season. We don't know if we're going to see a more run-heavy offense. You know what I mean? We don't really know. Let's come back to this and say who has had the best first 5 weeks.
more run heavy. I don't know if it's possible over there.
I mean, we have a stable of running backs.
Yeah.
There's actually a couple different ways you can look at this question. Is it just in terms of wins and losses? Because I think probably you're talking about Trey Lance, or you're probably talking about Mac Jones. Mac Jones has both the highest, has the lowest ceiling and the highest floor. He's on that team. They've run the same offense they've ran for decades, and it's going to be somewhat successful, and he's going to win around 9 games. So you can't go too far down after that. I think Trevor Lawrence is still the best quarterback in that draft, and I still think he's the most talented. And I think if he was on the Patriots, he'd have a lot more success than Mac Jones. I think Justin Fields is in a really bad situation. I don't think their team got too much improved since last year. So I think he's going to have a rough go at it. Yeah, I don't think he's
they lost Robinson.
Yeah. So he's going to have a rough
really
go
fix
at
that
it.
offensive line much either.
I'll throw Davis Mills in there. I think Davis Mills, a lot of people are hyping him up kind of this year. I think he falls flat in his face and he's not a starter next year. And who else am I forgetting? Zach Wilson has the most opportunity to improve because he was on such a terrible team last year that I think they have added weapons around him, and I think he can actually get into some relevance. Even though I think I think Wilson, Lance, and Mac Jones are going to be better than Trevor Lawrence. I still think Lawrence is the best quarterback out of that crop.
You know, Davis Mills was actually spoken very highly of coming out of this draft.
Davis Mills is garbage.
I would not say he's garbage.
Any team going up against Davis Mills is not afraid of going up against Davis Mills. They're like, oh, great, we're playing Davis Mills today. We can relax.
I'm just telling you that he was spoken highly of coming out of the draft. That's all I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people get spoken. Drew Lock was spoken highly of. How good is he?
Well, Seattle trusts Drew Lock over your boy Baker Mayfield. They could have him.
We'll see how that turns out. We'll see if that's the case.
They just came out today and said they have no interest in Baker Mayfield.
I mean, it would not surprise me at all if Baker's career took a back burner because of his immaturity. And frankly, I just don't believe that anybody in the league really wants to rally behind Baker Mayfield. I don't think that he has given any receiver core in the league. They don't give a damn about Baker. Seattle's ready to run. They're going to run with Drew Lock. They're content.
Yeah,
Onshore.
Only if they're content and really blowing their season to get a high pick.
Onshore, where do you rank those?
Rebuilding.
Where do you rank those second-year guys?
Okay, so unbiased opinion, of course. I would say Zach Wilson, number one. Then I'm gonna put Trey Lance. Then Mac Jones. Then Trevor Lawrence, and then Davis Mills.
Something tells me that Davis Mills has. First of all, where the hell did Davis Mills go?
What do you mean? Where did he go?
The college?
Where did he go?
The
I'm
school.
gonna give my dogger medicine.
The high school.
The school.
No, who drafted him? Who drafted Davis Mills?
Houston.
Okay.
Houston.
Yeah. I think they have success with Davis Mills. I honestly believe that Davis Mills will have a better season than Justin Fields.
No.
I do. I that's my opinion. I mean, don't know.
He might
stick it in your ass.
He might be able to have a better season, like statistically, like him throwing, like just like you criticize everyone else who doesn't throw 80-yard bombs. He might throw.
No, I don't criticize you. I don't criticize.
They don't score.
I don't criticize people that can't throw 80-yard bombs.
He might not have.
I criticize quarterbacks that cannot make all the fucking throws.
He might have a low interception count because he doesn't take chances because his arm's not good enough. But yeah, I mean, Davis Mills.
I think Davis Mills has a better season than Justin Fields.
He's not a better quarterback than Justin Fields by a long shot.
Well, time will tell. Time will tell.
What was I going to say? I have another question for you, Anshul.
Yep.
There's one particular draft pick of mine of your guys that has been getting a lot of hype, and just want to know your opinion on it. Danny Gray. So, what is your opinion on Mr. Gray? So I
I
keep
think,
hearing he's the next coming of Jesus Christ.
see, the thing is, I
speed.
think everybody's kind of getting hyped up with him is because obviously it goes back to number 10. He has a lot of limitations. You can't throw the ball deep. With Trey Lance, you can do that. We've seen it. We saw it in some of those preseason games, with a guy like Trent Sherfield. So I think the hype is just that because Danny Gray is super fast and he can go downfield and burn those, corners, those safeties. And so I think everybody's just super excited to see Trey
is he
Lance that he
good
can throw deep.
Is he a good football player, or is he just fast?
Well, coming out of college, I mean, he definitely his catching, like he does have some small hands, right? Like that's definitely something part of his game that has to improve. I feel like he was pretty much known for because of the speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm a Browns fan, so we drafted a guy last year who had great speed, and I wasn't too hyped up over him. I was willing to give him a chance, but he ended up not being that great. Anthony Schwartz, 4.3, high 4.2s, low 4.3s type speed. But if you're not a good football player, I mean, and I'm not saying Danny Gray is not a good football player.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know too much about him, and I guess we'll see. But if you're not a good football player, speed's not gonna matter all that much.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen also a lot of guys, coming out of college that have been known for the speed at the combine, and then they haven't turned out well. John Ross, for example. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's definitely obviously that risk there, too.
Yep.
I don't think that Danny Gray has a very large role this season, right? We're going into the season expecting Juwan Jennings to just have an exemplary season, right? Like we saw flashes last season. We're expecting a lot more from him. Ayuk this season is going to have, we believe will have a better season than last year because don't forget, he missed a few games, right? Like he was in the doghouse, so to speak. And he still finished the season with what? Was it a little over 800 yards?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we expect to see, bigger steps from Ayuk. We expect Juwan Jennings to really step up in that red zone threat, to be an end zone threat, a third down. Listen, guys, let's move on. I want to pick his brain a little bit about the league, about the NBA, but I really just the Trey Lance and number 10 comparison. It doesn't really have a place. It doesn't have a place. You know what I'm saying? Like
it will once the season starts.
Okay, and I mean, so will your diabolical pervert. I mean, he'll have a comparison to be spoken of also. So it is what it is. But for now, it's just my expectations are reasonable. You know what I'm saying? And I think yours are too. So Nick's going to sit here and he's going to bust my balls, and that's fine. Whatever. I don't care. You know what I mean? I know what I saw last year, and I believe that what I saw, 900 yards, right? No, I'm sorry, 600 yards, a little over 600 yards passing, with 6 touchdowns, media?
For Jennings?
For Trey Lance.
Oh, Trey Lance.
A little over 650 yards passing.
It was a pedestrian stat line.
It was 2 games, bro.
Yeah, it was 603 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Okay. All right. There it is.
He played a whole
Not
half.
bad. Not bad.
Ran for his life. And if you think about it, those interceptions were like, well, there was that one versus the Texans, but like the other one that he had was way at the beginning, like when he was pretty much rushed to start versus the Cardinals.
Right. So I'm not really like, we have to, Tony and I have said this ad nauseum. So, and Nick has sprinkled his opinion in there too, but the kid's got to get on the field. We can't sit here and beat this into the ground any longer until we get the kid out there on the field, period. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this discussion that Bay Area Baller put on the table. We'll come back to this 6 weeks in, and we'll see where we were. We'll see where we were. All right. So listen, media, I want to ask you a question. What, in your opinion, why do you feel Kevin Durant wants out of Brooklyn?
You there, Anshul?
Yes, sorry. I totally blasted out.
So did you hear the
It's all
question?
good.
No,
He-
I didn't.
He was asking. He asked you, why do you think Kevin Durant wants out of Brooklyn?
Okay. Something kind of you guys mentioned too is I think it's probably just 'cause it hasn't worked out. Right? You know, you have obviously Kyrie and Kevin Durant, who both decided to team up and go to Brooklyn, but I think it hasn't worked out, and that's why I think Kevin Durant wants to leave and possibly go to maybe more of a team where it's just himself as kind of the star, or it's at least for the most part already, you know, mostly like organized, and it's just the kind of like the Suns. Like I think I'm hoping he doesn't go to the Suns just because I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, but
I actually think it'd be a terrible idea for a team to get Kevin Durant as the lone star on the team.
I don't think. I think he'll want to be paired up with at least a few All-Stars.
Yeah, I think he'll fold.
They were
but
saying today.
I think if it's already like there's already stars on the team. Like for example, the Suns, they have Devin Booker, right? Like I think if the stars already on the team, I think there might be a better shot that it works. But I think just, you know, having two guys go to the same team and then try to, you know, win a championship.
Devin Booker is completely
I don't
irrelevant in
think
the
that.
postseason. The guy vanishes. The guy is completely irrelevant in the postseason.
He's still
He has
young.
shown me. I don't care.
I was just using him as an example, by the way.
No, it's a good example. It's a great example. But I think that Kevin Durant would like to go somewhere where he can at least be paired up with at least two All-Stars. You know what team makes me scared? Which would be scary is Carter and I discussed this yesterday. Is Atlanta? He would be insane in Atlanta.
Ooh.
Actually, this is a good topic. Who do you think Durant should go to, and who do you think would be the best fit for him?
He should go back to Golden State. I mean, what do you mean? If you ask me where should he go, where you can win a championship.
But I'm saying,
You're a two-time MVP champion as a Golden State Warrior. I'm sorry. What the hell are you waiting for? Get Kuminga, get Jordan Poole, get Wiggins, package it up, and get him in there.
I'm not giving Poole away. Sorry, no, thanks.
I mean, it's gonna take Poole and at least. I mean, he's got to go, bro.
I might sound crazy.
What were they thinking about getting rid of Gary Payton? The dude was the best defender on the court.
Okay, well, let me tell you this though. The thing, I'll get to that, but I don't personally. I know Kevin Durant's this crazy player, but just because the Warriors, excuse me, just won the finals, I would keep Wiggins, and I'm not doing the trade if I'm the Warriors right now. Also, just because I don't want to lose the depth. I really like.
Oh, dude, you can get depth. KD back right now, dude. I'm sorry, but you're back in the conversation for a Western Conference championship next year. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Poole. You wouldn't need Jordan Poole if you had KD.
Do the Warriors need KD? They just want to.
Here's the thing.
Exactly.
Championship without him.
I don't think they don't.
Kevin
Dude,
Durant.
put the whole fucking thing on Stephen Curry's shoulders, bro.
Kevin Durant cares way too much about himself and his legacy and how people view him. He cares way too much about that shit to go back to Golden State and the things people would say about him. He would care way too much. He's not like one of these guys that's just like, whatever, talk all you want about me. No, he cares about what people say about him. And there's no way if he went back there, everyone would be saying, "Oh, you can't do it without Curry. You can't do it without Steve Kerr. You can't." He cares way too much about that.
Yep.
I
agree with
texted
that
you.
wholeheartedly.
Wiggins
I
got to
texted-
get paid.
Who's gotta
Kuminga
get paid too.
wasn't much in the finals, right?
Kuminga's a rookie.
Really,
But I mean, but the thing is, if you think about it,
he was pretty dope. He was pretty dope in the
thing is,
first series.
listen, the thing
Yeah,
about
but
it is the
still,
Warriors aren't gonna play much as the rookies. Like even during the season, yeah, Kuminga kind of played when there were injuries and had some, splatters of play time. But it's just why would the Warriors? Because they're in the middle of winning a championship. They're obviously gonna try to develop the guys too, but I never expected them to be playing the young guys as much.
Okay, if KD joins the Warriors this coming season, right, and they contend for another championship and they get it, do you give a damn what happens from there? Let them rebuild. Let them rebuild around. I mean, Clay will be top. Clay will be at the top of his game. Draymond right now has become nothing but a liability. So you've got Javon Looney, right?
Kevin Looney, yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Kevon Looney. I'm sorry. So you got Looney. You've got a liability in Draymond Green. You still have Steph playing lights out basketball, and he essentially carried this squad this season through the finals, right? So
No.
if you're telling me that they could not have used a Kevin Durant, that series was over. The series was over. It was swept. It would be a swept. Would have been swept.
They could probably use them, but they just won. They just won without them. And do you
They can win again. They
And the
can
thing
win
is-
again.
Okay,
can win
you were
again next
mentioning.
year.
One sec. You were mentioning. I want to go to this point real quick. You were mentioning. Oh well, wouldn't I be happy? Obviously, if the Warriors won another championship and they lose some of these, young guys. Yeah, but the thing is, I think it's the Warriors organization. They don't want to be kind of like the Niners. They want to be. Sorry, they do want to be like the Niners. They want to be. Obviously, the Niners
They wanna
haven't done it
build.
yet, but they want to keep building and build for the future as well. So they don't want to
Yeah.
be mediocre.
I could see if the Warriors lost this year, and they were like, oh man, we need one more thing to get us over the edge. But they just won this year. There's no reason why they can't win next year either. Like
Bullshit. Dude, there was a lot on Steph, dude. That
Okay,
took a lot, dude.
but like you said, Jonathan.
I mean,
Kuminga's a rookie.
Wiggins was inconsistent, but Wiggins was literally the second best player on the team.
Like Jonathan.
I mean,
Kuminga-
Wiggins played himself into a contract. Now, does Golden State want to keep him? Do you see them paying him, throwing a bag at him?
I mean, there's been rumblings this off season already that they are expected to give him an extension.
Because
but-
I thought they were planning on moving off of him,
but I
but
don't
they
know.
weren't expecting this. He showcased in the playoffs and into the finals. He literally played himself a bag. Period.
See, if they think they could get someone better, like a Kevin Durant, for example, then maybe they'll probably just package him and whatever else. But I don't know. It's a tough question. I don't know if they're gonna extend him.
but Kuminga,
Lamar says Toronto or Miami.
I think
Lamar's
Miami is
pushing.
spot for him.
Lamar's pushing hard for Toronto, boy.
I think
I just-
Toronto-
I think
Toronto, I just
That's
don't
his
see where
boys.
Toronto. I don't see where he fits on Toronto, and what do you give up for him? I've seen a lot of trades for KD, and Toronto's been involved in those, and they've been all over the place. What do you give up? Siakam? Do you give up Anunoby? Do you give up a bunch of like young players like Scotty Barnes and a bunch of picks? Like what do you give up to get him? Because
And I feel like
don't
they're
see-
all in like that same like position, like Anunoby,
Mhm.
yeah.
Siakam, Barnes. They like all play like
Yeah.
that same type of game. I don't see how he fits
Mhm.
there unless you give.
And
up
how
a
does he
few
fit
of
there?
those guys.
I think Miami's perfect.
He fits there because he's got what's his face? Jimmy Butler.
I think he fits perfectly with a guy like Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler's proven to be a leader. Jimmy Butler's proven to be a guy that is willing to take a backseat for success. Jimmy Butler's a guy who doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands to be successful because he's a great defensive player. He's a facilitator. He's very unselfish. I like Jimmy Butler a lot, and I think he fits well with a guy like Durant. I think to get Durant, you probably have to give up a guy like Adebayo. And I think they could. I think that would be a payment that is worth it. Because
Lamar, I agree with you. I just don't know that KD wants to be the workhorse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that KD would like to play with a few all-stars. And elite coaching does, but it's like he doesn't need elite coaching. He really doesn't.
No.
He could just walk onto a team with a few all-stars and it could be awesome. It's just, what do you have to give up to make that happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why Golden State could give up. I think Golden State could land him. But I just don't know how he feels.
No.
Is it would he want to go back to Golden State?
Too much pride.
Maybe.
I think he has too much pride to go back to Golden State. But I also think, like I said, Golden State doesn't really need him. I think they're, like I said, Kuminga was a really highly touted rookie. Kuminga was one of the top picks in the draft. Kuminga has a whole buttload of talent, and that guy's only going to get better. He's super young. So they're going to improve as long as Steph Curry stays Steph Curry. And Klay Thompson.
Wiseman didn't even play. He didn't even play.
Wiseman didn't even play.
Yeah.
Wiseman might suck.
And you would literally play literally every single game. He did not get it. Day.
Wiseman might suck, but Kuminga's actually good.
I mean, I'm hoping Wiseman, him sitting on the bench and watching Looney, hopefully improves that, but we have to see. Also, you guys are mentioning Atlanta earlier. I don't really see it. Yeah, it would be great with Trae Young and Murphy, right? Who they traded?
No, they just landed. They just got what's his name in the trade?
Murray. Sorry, yeah, Murray, right? Yeah.
No, not Murray. They got someone else.
Who?
He's a stud.
They did make a move.
Deontay Murray. Deontay Murray from the Spurs.
Oh yeah, Deontay Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that was who they got, John.
What are they gonna give up now? Because didn't they give up like a bunch of firsts? They don't have enough firsts now. Like, I don't see how Atlanta would be.
Like, Atlanta's kind of in the same boat as Toronto. They have one star. Mm-hmm. They have one star, and then just a whole bunch of like really good players.
Oh, I think.
Where else could you see him? Could you see him go to
I think
Minnesota?
You were thinking about was Kevin Huerter to the Kings, maybe. I think that's what you were probably thinking.
No, I don't see him going to Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota can pull off any moves.
Yeah, and what's Minnesota gonna do now too? Because they just traded a bunch for Gobert.
If they did trade him to Minnesota,
the Gobert thing is insane.
But if he went to Minnesota, that'd be insane.
I'll tell you what. I think in the East, there's only a few possibilities in the East. I don't think Milwaukee's gonna fuck up what they have going on right now.
No,
so
I could never see him in Milwaukee.
No,
I count them out. I think Miami's a possibility. I think Chicago is a possibility. They have assets. How would what work?
A Chicago trade.
How would it work? What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, well, they would call each other and be like, hey, do you want so-and-so? Or do you want so-and-so? We'll throw in so-and-so, like every other fucking trade in the history of fucking mankind.
You don't have to be a prick about
it. So Miami, Chicago. I don't count out Washington. I don't count out the Wizards just because that's his hometown. It's his hometown. He might want to go back home and play. I never count them out. Pairing him up with Bradley Beal would probably never be a bad thing. You got Kuzma over there, some good big men. I never count out Washington just in case he wants to go home. And I'll tell you the dark horse. I know if I was in Kevin Durant's shoes and I was looking around the league, I'm thinking, where is there a good nucleus where you
Or
could
you
add
thought, I
me
know what you're gonna say.
and be instant contenders, and they have assets to go out and get him without fucking up the nucleus? The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Hell yeah, baby.
Knew it.
The fact that you would even like that is so hypocritical. You
Who
do
would like
nothing
it?
but-
Why?
John,
Why would I? Why would I be hypocritical?
Nothing but talk shit on Kevin Durant.
He pisses
Listen.
me off, but that doesn't mean hey, if what he didn't get 66 massages in 17 months. I don't give a shit. He
Listen
didn't do
to
anything
this.
to hurt my feelings. Are you kidding me?
If
He's just a big whiny bitch, but that's okay. I can forget about that for a little
Nothing but
while.
talk shit on him.
you can
I said he
give
pisses
up,
me off because he bitches.
you can give up Lauri Markkanen, Kevin Love, who would probably they would just sign and cut those guys. A
Buy them
boatload
out,
of
maybe.
buy them out. Boatload of draft picks. You could give up a Koru, whoever the hell they drafted.
You can give up Okoro. You can give up Colin Sexton and Kevin Love.
Sexton. Keep Sexton.
Why? They're not signing Sexton. I don't even know what they're waiting for. They're not doing it.
They shouldn't sign
They
Sexton.
gave Garland a shitload of money with an option of like 231.
They did the right
Like,
move.
I'll tell you
um,
what.
Garland
and
was
Garland's the better
definitely
player. They don't.
they
need
could make an offer. You would have KD, Darius Garland, Jared Allen. You'd have Evan Mobley. Holy shit!
Those four right
Yep.
there would probably put them, I'd say, up with Milwaukee as favorites to win the East. That
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, but then how do you make room for LeBron? LeBron has to co-sign on all this stuff.
What?
What?
So LeBron
What the
has
hell
to
are you
co-
talking about, dude?
LeBron has to
LeBron's
co-sign.
in LA,
LeBron's
man.
pulling out the picnic table so he can have a meet and greet with Kyrie.
So let's
It was
talk
how'd
about
you do-
this.
How'd you do with that thumb?
Yeah, what did you do with your thumb?
I was slicing an onion today for a burger. And here I am just slicing away. And I got too close to the thumb and I took a little chunk off of that. So slicing an onion, Kirk. I wish I had a better story for you. Hitchhiking or got a little too close to Deshaun Watson. No, I was just slicing an onion.
Joey, what's up, fam? Thanks for joining us, my man. Appreciate it.
Joey.
That is the GOAT media right there, fam. That is the GOAT.
What do you guys so in the West? In the West, I don't know. I've been hearing OKC, possibly him returning to OKC. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he's that guy to go back to where he already was before. I don't think he's that fucking guy.
I think the Mavs was an interesting proposal.
Yeah.
Pairing him up with Luka.
That would be insane. That would be insane.
Do
That would
they
be
have?
absolutely insane.
Do they have the resources to go get him? I don't even know. Who would they want?
Okay,
in that
hear
team?
me out real quick.
I mean, who
How
else do
about
they have but Luka?
a shocker? But how about the Utah Jazz?
Mm,
Hmm.
mm.
Dude, I just feel like he needs to be beside a few all-stars to make this
Yeah,
work.
that's another thing. Like I don't
He
I don't-
wants to make a
Donovan
run.
Mitchell. Donovan
I don't
Mitchell's an
think
all.
Donovan Mitchell. I
Yeah.
don't think Donovan Mitchell's a star to the extent that Kevin Durant can win with. I think he can win with Luka. I don't think he can win with Donovan Mitchell.
I'd see him pairing up with Damian Lillard before I'd see him pairing up
Mhm.
in
I agree.
Utah.
I agree.
I mean,
I could see Dame and KD paired up in
Mr.
Portland.
Mr. Durant, if you want to come over to Portland, we'd be happy to have you.
No, but that's
Yeah,
a small market team with no depth on the bench.
Great. Who cares?
I think. What do you mean? Who cares?
Who cares?
That's how you win a championship.
They can't play the entire game. They
Nick's
we
not.
got
It's
we got
the
Lillard.
oxygen.
We got. I mean, I would love that. I don't know how they can pull it off, but we got Lillard. We got.
Oh yeah, we got Lillard. We got.
There.
who
got,
didn't even look that good last year.
Who's a good force in the middle? We just drafted a nice rookie, so we're ready. We got some stuff.
We got Lillard and we got some stuff.
Yusuf Nurkic.
Oh, Nurkic.
Jeremy Grant. Josh Hart. We're going to be just fine this year. Not if Yusuf Nurkic like to come to Portland. I can get a hold of management. We can talk about this. We'd love to have you.
Because Nurkic is what everybody was missing this season.
Jumping in puddles, skipping down the hallway, had good to the petting zoo. He loves John Hallway.
No way,
Guy with the cutest little dimples, batting his eyes at everyone he sees. If you look inside yourself, you might be surprised when you find a little boy named Butters.
Well, that's just me.
I just realized what it was just now.
You just realized it was the Butters song?
I just realized it was the Butters song.
Because every team this past season was missing a Nurkic. Everyone. I mean, Jesus, how many times, media, did you find yourself sitting there in the series like, if we only had Nurkic?
John, what part
Zero.
John,
Zero.
What part of the Portland Trailblazers
Zero.
were absolutely tanking? Don't you understand?
KD needs to go to a team where they're going to be if they're not a contender, they're an instant contender without a doubt, right? There's only a handful of teams that could do that without sacrificing too much.
I think if KD was on the Portland Trailblazers, they'd be totally contenders.
Bullshit.
I don't know I don't know what they would get in return. I don't know what they would get. They don't have the resources.
They just signed Jeremy Grant. Trade his ass.
Did they sign Jeremy Grant?
Trade his ass.
Trade
his ass.
Who else?
Trade a bunch of picks. Trade whatever you can. Whatever you can do, trade them.
No, didn't they get somebody else?
Well, they just got Josh Hart last year.
I was trying to. I was thinking the other day.
Portland's not it.
If you were to take an elite player, a good player, a decent player, an average player, and just a player, if you could pick like one of each of those categories, do you think you can create an NBA championship team?
Absolutely, I could. It would all depend on who what those player classifications were, though. Like, what do you consider all those players?
Okay, so an elite player is like a top 10 in the league.
Okay.
An all-star.
No, I'd say an awesome player is an all-star. So you get an elite and an all-star, and then like an average, and then just like two regular Joe Schmoes. Like, you think you can construct, Nick? I know you're good at this. Let's hear where your mind's going with this. Who would be your elite player?
So I think my elite player would probably be either Steph Curry or Joel Embiid.
You got to pick one, Dick. I mean, we can't fucking come up with a million different scenarios. You want me to play the Butter song again?
No, don't play the Butter song again, Nick. Construct a team, damn it.
Steph Curry.
So Steph Curry is your elite player.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your all-star?
My all-star is. This is kind of the hardest one. My all-star is.
I mean, are we picking like offensively and defensively? Are we constructing a nucleus?
Just any players.
Jesus Christ. Every time we try to do something off the cuff like this, there's like a million questions that go into it.
All right, go ahead, Nick. Keep going. All-star.
let me get a list of players so I could figure it out. Because it's just can't do it just completely off the cuff.
You know what? You fucking ruined it.
All right, have somebody go on ahead of me, then I'll make a list.
On shows, we can't have anything nice on this fucking show. On show.
All right,
All right.
media, you want to go? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Steph Curry.
Jeez.
Would you put Wiggins as like all-star? I guess.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. I'd
So
probably.
are you just creating the Golden State
No.
Warriors right now? On show?
no. And then what was the third one?
Like a good player that's just not an all-star.
So kind of like just a role player type of guy.
Yeah, like a really good role player.
Okay. Ooh.
Should I go because I have my list ready?
All right, give me Seth Curry.
No.
All right, so you got both Currys and Wiggins.
Yeah.
I would say
And then-
Seth Curry. I'd say Seth Curry is like a good player. I think you still have like a really good player you could pick.
Okay.
That's not an all-star.
Okay. Okay. Give me. What's the guy's name on Memphis?
Steven Adams,
No.
No.
Jaren Jackson.
John Moran.
Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson.
Okay, so
There
you
you
got
go.
Curry, Wiggins, Jaren Jackson, and probably need a 5.
Okay, and so center, and so fifth is also kind of like a mid
Yeah.
player, right? Okay. Ooh. All right, let's look at the centers real quick. Give me Clint Capella.
It's a pretty good
Okay,
team.
that's pretty solid.
Okay. Nick, did you come up with yours yet?
Yeah, so Steph Curry is my elite player. My was a great player, all-star, you said. I'm gonna pick Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Then what's next? What category am I looking at next?
A good player.
A good
Like
player.
a really good player, not all-star.
A really good player. Would Bam Adebayo be in that
He's a fucking all-star.
conversation? Then I'll go with
Holy shit!
I'll go with OG Anunoby.
Okay.
As far as like a good like I'll pick Jonas Valanciunas as my center. And what other thing am I looking at right now?
Just a regular player.
Just a regular player?
This is the worst thing I've ever created in my life.
Yeah, it would be
I mean,
nice.
he's just taking forever.
Ricky Rubio.
So you're gonna have like 3-point guards.
You're gonna have 9. He'll have 9-point guards.
How am I gonna have 3-point guards? Who are my 3-point guards? I have Steph and Rubio.
So you're gonna have 2-point guards?
Yeah.
Way to play by the fucking rules, you fucking asshole. You have a way of fucking everything up in my life.
Hey, Media, thanks for coming, brother. Appreciate having you, my man. Media had to take off, guys. He said thanks for having him.
All right.
Thanks, media. KD and John Morant. Hello. Didn't even think about that one really. And
Lamar.
and they got the resources over there. They could give up Bane, Jaren Jackson, draft picks. Didn't they get some the Brandon Clark kid? He's young and good. They got some
He's
resources.
not that young, actually.
Memphis is a fantastic spot, actually.
I mean, it'd be great for him to pair up with Morant.
Okay, Lamar, that was a good hot take, my man.
It's a good one.
That was a real good one.
Yeah, where's
Those are really
Jalen
good
Brown?
ones.
Where's Jalen Brown on your list, Nick?
I just think Jalen Brown's an all-star. That's where I have him at.
Zach, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. We had an
When the fuck-
underrated take from Zach. Celtics Nets series. Kyrie was the better defensive and more efficient scorer than KD.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think Kyrie's ever been the better defensive player in anything, but okay.
Vince says he's going to the Suns. So Vince, if he's going to the Suns, then are they giving up? Who are they giving up? Because I mean, you need Devin Booker, you need Chris Paul, you need
They probably have to get rid of somebody like Miles.
you need Ayton, right? You need Ayton. Are they going to give up Ayton?
They can't. They don't have Ayton to give up.
I'm saying I don't know. Like, what do they have to give up?
They probably have to give up like Bridges, and I don't know.
No, you're not going to give up depth.
Bridges is a really good player. Bridges is one of those players that's really hard to find.
Oh, Denise loved that one. Denise, thanks for joining us, family. She is a Phoenix Suns fan, so she is not going to like to see Bridges go. She's not going to see Ayton go. I just don't know how. I don't know how they got a good thing going in Phoenix, bro. I don't think that they need KD. Honestly, I don't think they do.
The only thing about
They need Devin Booker to step up in the postseason and become relevant. That's what they need.
The only thing about I think you're really overestimating. I think you're really like taking Devin Booker's lack of success.
Okay, okay, hot shot. So tell me,
like Devin Booker,
what has been Phoenix's biggest? What has been their biggest downfall?
What has been Phoenix's biggest downfall?
Yeah,
They don't really have a downfall. They're one of the better teams in the league. They've been to a champion. I have going to a championship game as an accomplishment. I have going,
and then you follow up the next season with what? What do you follow up the next season with?
They came just short.
Just short of what?
They came short of the finals. Only 2 teams make the finals. There's 30-some teams in the NBA.
Hey, Guy, I got to tell you, Devin Booker was their biggest downfall. I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense to you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think you do a little too much with that.
Okay.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think they need to add a little more talent to a team with Devin Booker and Chris Paul.
Crowder, Bridges, Cameron, Johnson, Ayton.
I don't think
you're giving up all of that to bring KD.
But you don't have Ayton to give up. Ayton's not signed to the Phoenix Suns.
Ayton is owed a big contract. So either you keep him or cut him.
I don't think he's owed anything. I think
he's due for the bag.
I think Ayton's the biggest downfall on the Suns because I don't think Ayton's that
bullshit.
Good. Ayton's a
bullshit.
Ayton's a soft center who's supposed to play like a big
guy. Okay.
Like if you put a guy like Nicholas Claxton on that team, he'd be just fine. The Suns would be no worse.
No.
Ayton's not that good.
Ayton's that good.
I wouldn't pay Ayton a red cent of what he thinks he's owed.
A red cent.
Yep.
You cheap bastard.
Wouldn't give him a red cent.
You are too. You're absolutely insane. Makes no sense. You did, Denise. To be honest, you crapped yourselves. There's no doubt about it. There was a big failure on Chris Paul's part. Nick hates it when I say this, but Devin Booker failed himself and the team miserably.
I mean, I
do believe that Ayton is a stud.
I kind of don't like Devin Booker, but like when he says like he's the biggest downfall and that he doesn't have success in the postseason, the kid's been in the league 4 years, and he's made the playoffs and he's made an NBA final. Like that's pretty successful.
And what did you do? What did you do? That window doesn't stay open often.
That's a success. That's a successful thing. Like,
all right. So we're just playing for mediocre success. We're not playing for a chip.
You hope a kid who's in his early 20s can eventually, by the time he's 30, win a championship. He's still got a couple years left to do that.
Okay. And what will be left with the squad? What will be left?
I don't know.
It's going to be Devin Booker, a senior citizen in Chris Paul, and Kevin Durant.
Jordan didn't win his first title till like his 6th, 7th year.
What are you saying that for?
How is that relevant?
Because you just don't. Just because you don't win a title doesn't mean you're not a good player.
Okay.
Or it doesn't mean you're failing your team.
So you're telling me that Devin Booker, you're telling me that the Phoenix Suns are always going to be in contention because Devin Booker is young.
I mean, they've been in contention since he's been here. Like they had the first couple years were bad, and then the last couple years have been very good. They didn't win it all, but they still won. They still had success.
All right. Whatever, Nick. It's like throwing shit at the wall with you.
Like they just need to get better pieces around them.
Yes, Vince, we did. Yes, Vince, we did talk about number 10. We are not going back down that rabbit hole. It was ugly.
It wasn't that bad. You didn't have any wrecking ball moments. We were fine.
John Wall to the Clippers.
John Wall to the Clippers. I mean, I like it. I think John Wall still has a lot left in the tank. I think the rare playing time he got at Houston was very good. I think he can, when he's on a team that's in contention, I think he'll play well.
You think that he makes a difference?
Actually, I absolutely I do. I think he's a huge improvement over Reggie Jackson.
Tony, do you think he's a big improvement over Reggie Jackson?
We just don't fucking know, man. You know, you get these guys when you're constructing a team. I think about when Milwaukee went out and got Jrue Holiday.
Right.
Jrue Holiday was not just a phenomenal player, but he's a phenomenal person. I don't know if you've ever watched some stories about Jrue Holiday and his wife and his kids' situation, but he's just as good of a person as he is player.
Yeah,
and
I have heard that.
And when you go out and sign a guy like that, you know that you're getting a good character that doesn't need the limelight, that can sit in the back of the locker room but still be a leader. Doesn't have to be out in front of the cameras, doesn't have to be on commercials. John Wall is not that fucking guy. John Wall is about John Wall. He wants to be on commercials. He's just not fucking good enough anymore to be on commercials. He hasn't stayed healthy.
Health is everything.
John Wall is not that character guy that you're looking to bring into your organization. So I worry about that. Ty Lue's got his work cut out for him next year. Is he still the coach there?
Who knows? Has John Wall ever been thought to be a bad teammate?
Yeah.
No, he just doesn't take a team. He's not making them better. I just don't think he makes them better. Reggie Jackson's health kept Reggie Jackson relevant. I think John Wall has always been injured, so Reggie Jackson was probably better in the sense that he's healthy.
I've never heard about John Wall being a bad teammate or his teammates not liking him. Maybe that's something I just missed.
I've definitely heard that a lot of times, even with Bradley Beal. I don't know. Google it.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, you do. You Google everything else.
Google it, motherfucker.
What are your top? Let's listen, fellas. Top 5 fantasy football quarterbacks.
John,
John,
you do realize all of these that you're pulling up are from last week.
Yeah, but we didn't get to do them last week.
Let's not do this right now.
We did do this. We did.
No, we didn't.
Did we?
We tried to do it. It failed miserably. So we're gonna take.
Well, let me guess. You went on and on and on like a.
Yeah, we're gonna start. We're gonna do this next week. We're gonna start talking fantasy next week.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna start
So
talking
from
fantasy.
last week, what didn't we talk about? We didn't talk
tried,
about.
and we got off topic, and I think a guest might have came on. We stopped talking about stuff. It was
Yeah, and I got drunk, and I got.
You were drunk. You were drunk.
Sometimes that happens on the show. Sometimes you get a little too tipsy.
Dude, I was having a
Yeah,
blast. That's all that matters.
You got drunk and you started going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I did, but I had a blast doing it.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you guys 4th of July go?
It was great. It was actually, we had a good time, man. It was very, very good family time. It went well. It went well.
I had a couple people over at my mom's house. Went swimming for a long time and kind of just relaxed. It was a nice 4th of July.
I could see you got all the your forehead hogged all of the sun for everyone involved.
Who'd you have over?
My like family, my cousins, my brother came home from Columbus, so a nice little.
We did the parade. We did the parade.
Yeah, I also did the
They brought
parade.
it back after 2 years. We had a great time. It was a really nice time for the kids. Hot as shit.
Community parades are kind of boring, aren't they?
No, I love it.
I'll tell you what.
I love it. It's fun.
That shit in Illinois broke my heart though, man. When you got people that go out and ruin shit. And I always think,
that was crushing.
I always think to myself, my mind just works this way. Like, if you're gonna shoot up a place, like I always think, like, man, the perfect time to do it would be the 4th of July when like fireworks are going off. People would hear loud bangs and not think much of it because of the 4th of July, and my heart goes out to those people, especially the young kids, man. Like, I don't even know.
My heart.
You don't know until this shit
to terrorize a family gathering. And it absolutely it rattles me to a core, man. Like it's to the point now where like I don't want to watch the news because I don't want to hear about anything. Any gun violence of any kind. I do. Like I see it. I turn on the television. I stay off social media, and I still find out. Like, you know, to see families utterly destroyed by a fucking psychopath. You know, and when we get them into custody, like, fuck that, dude. Shoot that fucking dirtbag in his face. Period.
All right. Calm down.
Unfortunately,
it upsets me.
Unfortunately, there's a justice system in this country, John.
I get it.
Calm down.
Sorry, it gets to me. It upset me.
You can't just go
around
being a vigilante.
Because you know what, Nick? You know why it upsets me? Because we were at a community parade.
Yeah,
and it was families enjoying their time together.
Mm-hmm.
Some much needed, you know, and to know that somewhere else that same thing is happening and someone is destroying it, bringing tragedy and turmoil, just sickening, and it breaks my heart, man. Like my prayers go out, but I mean, you know, prayers. I'm sick of prayers. I'm tired of it. You know, I just want this shit to stop. You know, I want it to stop.
Unfortunately, we live in a world where. Go ahead.
I always get annoyed when I hear like, oh, they need to like make more strict gun laws, and they need to make more strict, not to get political and shit, but I always stop and think like, if you made a gun law, it's gonna like stop John from. It's gonna be harder for John to get a gun, not some idiot that doesn't follow the laws anyways. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, criminals will do criminal acts. The criminal behavior will always supersede laws. When you ban something, someone finds a way around it. It's an act of terror. It's it will happen. And yeah, I'm not getting political. I don't want to, but at the end of the day, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I mean, where does this country go from here?
Bad things have been happening for a long, long time. Bad things have been happening for thousands of years. Bad things are going to continue to happen. It just is what it is. Yeah, you look at the bad thing and you say that's terrible. I feel bad for whoever that is, and that's really all you can do. Because bad things are going to continue to happen.
What do you think?
It terrifies me of the life that these kids are growing up in. Your kids.
What do you think these
kids
young
everywhere, bro?
What do you think these young? What do you think's triggering these young adults, 18, 19, 20, and the majority are white males between like the ages of like 17 to 21. What do you think's triggering?
I don't know, dude. I don't know if it's neglect. You need friends. You need friends. You have to be raised right with a good family. You have to have the right values. I feel like you need to be raised within a loving home. You know what I mean? Like,
I think
you can't be a loner.
Right, a little bit. I think with social media, a lot of these kids who probably, I say kid, I mean, I don't think this guy was actually like a teenager or anything, but a lot of these people,
he was 22 years old.
Yeah, a lot of these people, had they grown up in a time without social media and stuff, they would have probably just been reclusive. Where now, if you've been kind of like hidden away from society and you want that spotlight and you're kind of yearning for that spotlight, you do one of those acts. Great, you're the most known person in the world now.
Yeah, before it was like,
yeah, that's like, absolutely disgusting.
Like they sit at home and they're like, I have no friends. I have nobody knows who I am. I want to be noticed. I want to be recognized for something. I want to be popular for, even if it's a day. I want my name. They're finally gonna know my name. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it wasn't like that back in the day. Like, you just got made fun of at school, and you just went home, and you were like, oh, hopefully tomorrow's better. Hopefully tomorrow. You know, like come to school.
I graduated. Maybe I can reinvent my life now. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
No, it's not that simple. I think it does. I think social media does absolutely give a platform for behavior, be it just being a fucking clown or dialing it up to being a psychopath and destroying lives. Yes, you do offer a platform, but at the end of the day, like there's that secluded, isolated loner whom didn't have a supportive, loving family, didn't have good friends and family values. Like there is still a type of person. You have to look at who were these people, what do they have in common, and it's dark. It's fucking dark. And Denise says, she's terrified for her children. I mean, I'm terrified for your children. I'm terrified for our children. I'm terrified for everything. But because now violence is just a constant occurrence. And it's not just like it's violence, it's gun violence. It's too common, and it strings together. Like it's like, yes, so this fucking asshat is known now briefly, but because the media will feed into that, and they'll put his face on the television, and they'll spread it on Reddit and social media platforms. They're giving that recognition because they're telling the story, and it lasts for a week, and then some other fucking clown, makes a headline and one ups the next. You know what I mean? Like it is a platform, and Kirk's right. You're offering a platform, and the world sees it. And it's absolutely disgusting.
Izzy, it's not just because you're a loner, it doesn't mean that you're going to do something like that, but it does. You do have like a character, characteristic.
No, that's not.
of everyone
I'm not.
who does this.
No, that's
And
not what I mean. Is he?
Yeah.
That's not. That is absolutely not what I mean. You should not be offended because you were raised. You're raised right. I know who you are. You're raised right. I'm talking about kids that were neglected and left behind. I feel like there were parts of their lives that were just they were neglected. They didn't have a family and support, and that is not. If you felt Nick, shut up.
Well, you keep pausing. I think you're done, and then you start again.
Okay. Sorry. Blame that on the internet. I don't know what to tell you. But I apologize. That's not what I meant entirely. I did not. That's not what I meant. I just mean the isolated type that was neglected, that did not have a family, a good family value, an upbringing that was quality, that gave them
not
purpose.
even family. John, I don't agree with family. You can have a fucked up family.
Well, not every family. I mean, there could be shitty families, but I mean, it didn't. Maybe it didn't always. Maybe it wasn't always shit. These individuals didn't get the support.
These people don't have positive outlets. Meaning, I don't think I had the greatest family growing up, but I had awesome fucking friends, and they had awesome families. I had outlets like sports that I would get out and I was able to find different positive outlets. Izzy, you say you're a loner, but you're on all these. You're on our show. You're part of our family now. You have positive outlets in your life, and you're a positive person.
You're on more podcasts than anyone.
She's everywhere. So I think having those positive outlets, there's people that don't turn to positive shit. They turn to like the dark web. They go down rabbit holes. I think video games. I know we got a lot of gamers that watch the show on the show. I think gaming has gotten very dark as well. You sit in your room at night. I buy that completely. You sit in your room at night and you're killing people on whatever game. What's that war game that's real popular?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, you're sitting here in your room with a bunch of Asians in your ear, and you're just killing people on Call of Duty all night, and it, I mean, gets you accustomed to like that type of thing. I don't know, man.
I think that's
what about if you just need medical support and your family is just not acknowledging some of the signs.
Maybe your family doesn't have the resources. There's also a stigma on mental illness too. Maybe your
I feel like if you're a neglected individual, like what kind of life is that for somebody that didn't get it? Okay, so maybe not every family's the greatest, but like you said, you got friends with great families. You know what I mean? Like if those individuals don't even have that, if they don't have a good home, if they can't find friends with a good home, if they can't find purpose, there has to be something to it.
We also got to realize how rare this is. Like it happens. We see it on TV every most days, but even if it happens most days, it's still incredibly rare.
What if you didn't see it, though?
If you didn't see it, you wouldn't know what's going on. Ignorance is bliss.
No, but what Kirk said is, what if they passed an act showing that they wouldn't show the face, they wouldn't say the name, they just said an event happened at this place, this is what happened, and they give no credit to anyone, to the shooter, to the person that carried out these acts. They got no recognition whatsoever.
The problem is someone will. Like I get it. You say like, what if it didn't happen? But someone will. Like there's going to be court cases on this kid. There's going to be media's constantly battling for attention to see who breaks the story first and who breaks it most accurately and who has the best coverage of it. It's a really hard thing to ever not do. And there's the press will talk about freedom of the press, freedom of speech, and all that stuff.
You ever see how many killings are in Chicago every single day?
I mean, we know there's a lot.
Do you ever see their names?
No, because people have just kind of it's so regular that unfortunately, I'm not saying me personally, no one really gives a shit.
Oh, we got real dark here on the Locker Room Rant.
Right, dude, it's okay. This channel is not just about sports; it's about life, bro. It's real. I think it's real. It's fine. We didn't hurt it. We didn't do anything wrong. But I agree with Kirk. I think that there's a great deal of your past. I mean, I think there's a lot to dig into, you know. And I mean, the behavior, their video games. They've been talking about video games like Grand Theft Auto was one of the top games that people really used as an example, that they believe that kids were getting the wrong ideas and they were in their developmental years and they were playing this violent game and they were running around and they were killing people and they were assaulting officers and they could assault people. And I agree that young children should not be exposed to that specific platform, that game, that title. It sends a terrible message when your children are young. You're 6 years old. You have absolutely no right allowing your child to play a game like that. You know, they're
Call of Duty. You gotta be
bullshit.
I can't play it now. I can't play it now. I'm 39. Like,
kids today are far more advanced than we ever were at their age.
Yeah.
At every age. A 6-year-old, when I was 6, a 6-year-old today is 4 times the person that I ever was, just in access. Like, you ever notice that a young child can pick up a device like a phone or a tablet, and they can sit there and they can manipulate a tablet and a phone? You would have given, if you could take an iPhone or an iPad from 2022, take it back to when we were children in the 90s and give it to us, we have a better chance of knocking ourselves unconscious with it, or our siblings. We just use it as a weapon. We wouldn't even understand how to use it. Kids today, they scroll, they tap. It's insane to me. It actually freaks me out.
My thing is it's not that common. Like, you shouldn't be afraid to send your kids to school. You shouldn't be afraid to go to the grocery store. You shouldn't be afraid to go to a concert. You shouldn't be afraid to let your kids do whatever, go to the movies. You should still be free of mind to let that happen, because it's not that common.
How many kids do you have again?
I have none. I have 2 nephews, and I love them like my own. I would totally let them happen. I would totally let them go to school without a second thought.
Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad when you see it. It really is. It's sad when you see it, but it's not.
There's no way, Nick, that you can say that.
What's that?
You can't know.
Well, you
see
never...
it. You see it happen. You see these tragedies happening in other states and other cities, and you say to yourself, I would let my nephews go to school. Dude, you don't know what a parent thinks about when they see this on the television, when they see it on the computer. It makes them feel like, dude, like it could happen anywhere. It's frightening.
I understand it's frightening, and I understand the psychological aspect that seeing that on TV has on you. But what I'm trying to tell you is it's still rare. It's still rare. It's a country of 350 million people. Don't let it affect your life. There's a lot of other things that affect your life. Actually, moving on, we should probably end it, because I don't think we have too much else to talk about. And it's at an hour 39.
I said we still have a few
Denise.
minutes to talk about best movies of all time.
That's fantastic. She learned how to make a low carb tortilla chip. Woo! Good for you, Denise. Good for you. That's good. I like how you broke this up. That was a game changer.
Tell you what, Kirk's ears perked up. That's for damn sure. He's all over this chat.
What kind of movies are we talking about?
Kirk's like, finally, something I know what they're talking about.
Greatest movies of all time.
Are we doing greatest movies of all time?
Top 5? Sports or just ever?
I feel like we've done sports before.
Just do outright of all time.
It's kind of hard to go backwards without any prep from this, but I can definitely start from my front. Like, I can definitely start at number 1 because my favorite movie of all time is Forrest Gump.
Makes a lot of sense. You are pretty much Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, I believe, is the perfect movie. It's got everything you need. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got a great story. It's the one movie that I can watch that it's a long movie, but if it's on TV, I will watch it.
Okay.
Billy Bob Izzy's got me pegged for a Billy Bob Thornton fanatic. And Bad Santa doesn't make my top 5 of all time. It doesn't.
Oh, that's what we did. We did Christmas movies, remember?
It's certainly in my top 5 of Christmas.
Yeah.
She knows me too well there because I do love some Bad Santa of all time. Jesus. I still would say, man, I'm trying to think like comedies, dramas. I'm thinking, what's that? Are we? These are our favorites.
No, your cousins.
Well, my cousins would be. I'm trying to think, man. Just skip me, Tony. Go ahead. You tell me. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I like.
What kind of question was that?
I'm just like, are we talking about like, best of all time ranked by, Google or our own personal
Best of all time ranked by you.
God damn.
You just pick 5 random movies. No one will second guess what you pick.
Like any 5.
What's your favorite movie of all time? What's your favorite movie of all time? How about that?
I was a Beethoven fanatic.
Beethoven, there you go. So Beethoven, that's a good start.
Beethoven.
Like that movie.
Part 1 or part 5?
No. The original, the first.
The first Beethoven, John's favorite movie. There we go. That's
Okay.
an answer.
Beethoven. No one can really
it.
argue that. I know what I'm thinking right now. But I still can't. It's your favorite.
Your favorite movie. You were entitled to your opinion.
It's one of my favorites. But I did see one that was fantastic.
How ridiculous that was.
No. Hey.
Okay, Nick, laugh it out, buddy. Get it out. Laugh it out.
It's his favorite. So you can't.
It's his favorite. He's entitled to his opinion.
I can't. Beethoven is one of my favorites. I can't say it's my favorite of all time, but it's up there, man. I love Beethoven. I love dogs.
It may not mean nothing to y'all.
So Beethoven. That's a good start. That's a good start, John. What's number 2? Like Milo and Otis?
Yeah.
Homeward Bound.
No, man. Oh, Homeward Bound was bomb. Homeward Bound was bomb.
Homeward Bound was a good movie.
Homeward Bound was great. So don't make fun of that shit. You could go with Air Bud series. You could make fun of that. But Homeward Bound was awesome.
Homeward Bound was I would
Greatest
pick that
of
over
all
Beethoven.
time for me, though, man, is oh man, everything that I loved as a child was always animals, and still to this very day, it is. Like Free Willy was fantastic. But I just saw one recently with the dude from This Is Us. I can't remember. It's about a dog. He was a race car driver. I mean, this movie fucking, I loved it. I loved it. But I just can't remember. Something in the Rain, Driving in the Rain or Racing in the Rain.
So Beethoven,
Shit.
Free Willy, Racing in the Rain.
Dude, Tony, I mean, you can bet. It's, I don't remember I can't remember. Something in the Rain. I'll find out.
I saw
gotta
Top
tell
Gun.
you.
Top Gun Maverick was sweet.
I gotta tell you, this top 5 is shaping up to be.
The Art of Racing in the Rain. That was the movie. The Art of Racing in the Rain.
The Art of Racing in the Rain.
Phenomenal movie. Fantastic.
Beethoven,
Like one of my favorites.
Free Willy. And then you still have 2 left. Blow our minds, buddy.
No, I mean, Family Vacation is always going to be in my favorite, in my top 5.
Okay,
Always.
that's a good call.
I mean, you're talking all time, and you're talking about my favorites of my entire lifetime.
Yes,
I'm talking. These are my favorites from
You're
when I was
entitled-
younger
you're
to when I was older.
You're entitled to your
But
opinion.
Family Vacation is always going to be in my top 5.
What's
You're
Family
Bad Santa
Vacation?
will not make the cut.
What's Family Vacation? Like the first vacation?
Yeah, National Lampoons.
or Christmas, or there's Christmas Vacation. There's Vacation.
Christmas.
So you like the Christmas one? Okay.
It will always in my top 5, no matter what.
Okay. So you got Beethoven, Free Willy,
Airplane.
Racing in
Airplane. Fucking
the Rain.
classic.
Airplane's a good one.
What about Alive?
No, that was. Hey, dude, I put that in my.
The greatest.
Was that my
sports movie of
favorite?
all time.
That was one of my greatest sports. Did you watch Alive? Did you guys watch it? Okay, all right. You gotta watch it before you laugh.
Yeah, I've seen it before. It's a good movie.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You wanted to know. I told you.
John's favorite Christmas movie, Schindler's List. There was winter.
It wasn't my favorite. It was in my top favorite sports films.
John, the only thing missing in your top 5 greatest movies of all time is one of the Ernests.
Oh, dude, I loved Ernest, but it doesn't make my top 5.
Slam dunk Ernest.
I mean,
not even the good Ernest.
man,
What did Ernest say? I heard this one, like, all right, I think we've accomplished what we needed to.
wait, who? I didn't hear yours, Nick, or Tony's.
So my number 1 favorite movie of all time is obviously, as I said, it's Forrest Gump. I would probably say my number 2 is Pulp Fiction. Oddly, those two came out around the same time. Number 3,
You're fucking Googling, bro.
I have not Googled.
Yeah, you Googled.
No,
Those are literally in order on Google.
no, I didn't. So my number 3, this one would actually have to give me a little bit of thought. I would probably say, I really like the Marvel movies, but I don't think any one of them is worthy of number 3. Like, I don't think any specific one is worthy of number 3.
Are we rating these in order?
I mean, you don't have to. I mean,
You're dragging this out. Just name your fucking favorite 5 movies.
okay. Bambi. It's the first movie I've ever seen.
You know what? If Bambi was
Stockings.
Pippi Longstockings.
Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch was a great fucking movie.
Turner and Hooch was a good movie.
God damn it! You keep making fun of these animal movies, Paul.
Also a good movie, K-9. K-9 was a good movie. Not in my top 5, but it was around the time Returner and Hooch came out. I'd probably say Shawshank.
What about Rockies? What about
Shawshank.
Rocky? The Rocky series?
Rocky's not in my favorite movie. I like Rockies, but they're not. None of them are my favorite. Shawshank Redemption would probably be in there. I don't know if it would how it would rank, but it would be in there. Just in terms of like what I like, I don't think it's necessarily a great movie, but I do like the movie Armageddon. And
that was a good flick.
Probably, I'm trying to think of a fifth one that I really, 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 really like.
Don't want to close my eyes.
Don't want to
fall asleep because I
shit.
miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss them.
Fifth movie.
Star Wars
Really?
never could.
I'm
I
not a
could
big
never
Star
get into
Wars
Star
fan.
Wars, but I'm trying to do it now.
I gotta throw one of these in there.
Which one
I would
though?
say-
like, I want the whole.
I would probably say, see, it's hard because I'm really partial to the Prisoner of Azkaban, but I also, if I had to say what was the best movie, I'd have to say The Half-Blood Prince.
Sick.
I am partial to the Prisoner of Azkaban. Prisoner of Azkaban has my favorite character. It focuses on my favorite character.
I feel like one of your spots can be dedicated to just Harry Potter.
Just Harry Potter? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. So that's my 5.
That's a pretty good 5. Shawshank's in
I could
mine.
never stay awake long enough to watch any Harry Potter from beginning to end. It took me at least 2 days to watch. But then again, you know what time Nick wants to come over and hang out? 2 a.m., 1 a.m. Hey, let's watch Harry.
That's not true. I would come over to watch Game of Thrones.
Harry.
I would come over to watch Game of Thrones with you after you got off of work.
Oh, dude, did you tell the world? Do you want to tell the world what the intro music to Game of Thrones does to me?
It's like fucking it's like ether. It's like ether that when people run up behind somebody and like cover their face. He was out mid theme song.
Tony, the intro to Game of Thrones, I'm out. Dude, it's like I was drugged. I swear to God. I would be ready to go. I'd be like, Nick, get over here. Let's watch Thrones. And I would be like, woo! Sitting on my couch, ready to go. I got my snacks. I'm ready to go, bro. The intro starts. I just fall over, dude. It put me out. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I was like a sleeping baby. I was out, Tony. It was like a rocking chair. I don't know what to tell you.
All right. You're 5, and then we bounce.
Obviously, I love the manly shit. Gladiator, Braveheart. Big fan of Training Day.
Ooh, Training Day.
Castaway. I love these movies because like I put them on and then I just fall asleep.
Not me, dude. Everyone, dude, I was influenced by dog movies. They turned me into the biggest dog lover on the
Obviously.
planet. Hey, you got something wrong with that? Look at you over there. It's your fucking penance.
You know what movie I did forget, and I'd actually probably take Armageddon out and put it as like an honorable mention. I'd keep the Harry Potter in there, but I would probably put, and this is not going to sound too manly of me, but How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah, I remember when you came to Columbus and you busted out your DVD collection. It was like
And everything had Reese Witherspoon in it. It was like, what the fuck, Nick?
It was like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Legally Blonde, and Mean Girls. I was like, Nick, what the fuck am I looking at?
My sister got like a lot of DVDs, and I had her.
Oh yeah, my sister. I picked up the
I
wrong
was
bag
poor
on
at
the
that-
way
I
out.
was poor at that time. Remember, I was eating baked potatoes. I didn't have my own DVDs.
Nick could bust out every movie that Reese Witherspoon she was ever in, and I could still bust out the original VHS with the plastic big ass case of Beethoven.
Out of all the rom-coms, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is by far the best. And I don't think I get too much of a disagreement from that. What is a movie?
Yeah, but
what's that?
rom-coms alone, you and Reese Witherspoon I don't
know where you're getting this Reese Witherspoon thing.
I'm just making fun of you, bro. It's not, it doesn't make a difference.
Kate Hudson, Matthew McConaughey, get it right.
Sweet Home Alabama was pretty cool.
That was all right.
That was Kate Hudson. Reese.
Pee-wee,
Izzy. Truth be told, Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Pee-wee's and Big Top and Big Top Pee-wee are right outside the top 5.
Tony actually does a pretty impressive Pee Wee Herman impression.
Yeah, we'll get to that when I got sleeping people upstairs. I can't get Pee Wee right now. But those movies. I'll tell you another.
Oddly, Pee Wee Herman, huge 49ers fan, might come on the show.
I heard that. Paul Rubens
might come on the show.
I'll tell you another movie.
If Paul Rubens never makes an appearance on this show, I'll be ecstatic.
Another awesome movie is Blow. Did you guys ever see Blow?
Hell yeah. Excellent.
I've never seen the whole thing. I wasn't too enthralled by it. A lot of people like it, though.
That's one of the best movies of all time. I don't like Johnny Depp, but that Johnny Depp movie was unbelievable. I love that movie. There was another one I was just thinking of too.
There was a movie. It wasn't too well known. But I gotta be honest. I really did like it. It was also one of my sister's DVDs, by the way. It's called Man of the House. It was with Tommy Lee Jones.
I really need you to stay out of your sister's movie collection.
It was Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee Jones was like a Texas Ranger, and like this cheerleader squad for the University of Texas like witnessed a crime, and Tommy Lee Jones had to like pretend to be their undercover cheer coach. It was a nice movie.
I hope you
was he a woman like Mrs. Doubtfire type thing?
No, he was just like Tommy. He was just like badass Tommy Lee Jones. He was just like
Mrs. Doubtfire was phenomenal. Mrs. Doubtfire was phenomenal.
You know what else is phenomenal? I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's from like the 80s. It's called Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
Great movie.
It's fucking hilarious. If I ever watch something for the first time now from the 80s, I never laugh. Like the humor was different back then. This one was way ahead of its time. It's called Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. John, you have to watch this movie.
You know what movie I'm kind of like that with? Where it's like at the time I thought it was great, but now I don't think it doesn't really like hit me, is Wayne's World. Like terrible. I watch Wayne's World now. It's like it's not really that funny.
It's terrible.
Did you guys ever think that Encino Man was a good movie?
Nothing I hated more in life.
That's how I feel. That's how
Pauly
I feel.
Shore.
But when you say yes, Pauly Shore does not. He does nothing for me. Honest to God, he does nothing for me. Maybe if he would have done a dog movie, we could have a different point of view. But he didn't. So it is.
He was in Beethoven 6.
I told you. I only saw the first one, and I was young, and I loved it.
Did you guys like This Is the End?
I never
This
saw
is
it.
the end. Is that when like Michael, like when Cera and all those guys were making it up? I saw it. I mean, I'm trying to remember it.
It's when the world was ending and they were all like stuck.
Yeah.
In, what's his name's house? Nick, I can't believe you've never seen that movie.
I never saw it. No, but that is funny that you bring it up because some of my favorite movies are.
Pineapple Express was fucking hilarious.
Some of my favorite
That's a
movies
good
are like the Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn movies, like Owen Wilson, those movies, and
See,
also
now I've told you. Did I tell you guys that he doesn't really make me laugh all that much?
well, that's because you're a communist.
I'm not a communist. Will Ferrell, I liked him in Elf, but I really couldn't get into anything else.
Like
Is that
Elf
weird?
Is the worst
Is that
movie he's
weird?
ever- Elf is the worst movie he's ever made.
But it was entertaining to me.
Elf is the worst movie he's ever made. Like
When he was figure skating, I wasn't laughing. Anchorman had its funny
old
parts.
school is absolutely hilarious. Talladega Nights was okay. Step Brothers is the funniest movie I've ever seen.
Step
Is right off.
Brothers is
Step
very
Brothers
good.
is right off that top 5.
But I mean, Will Ferrell is just not like my go-to for comedy.
Like Step Brothers made me piss my pants. I think I literally peed my pants. I was laughing so hard.
This Is the End makes me piss myself just because everything they do in that movie reminds me of like what we would do in that situation. Like exactly how we would handle that stressful situation. And that's what makes me piss myself.
I love
like
Superbad.
if it was us three and like Kirk and like Bill stuck in a house and the world was ending. It's like exactly how that would fucking play out.
Yeah.
Nick, you have to see that movie, buddy.
I'll make it a point to watch it. All right, we're at 2 hours.
Sierra's probably one of my favorite from that timeline. Like Sierra is. There was a movie called Day One. What was it?
Year
Day
One.
Year One. Holy shit! Not a very. It wasn't a big movie. I laughed. But I mean, Sierra to me is that kind of comedy for me. That makes me laugh. Will Ferrell gets really loud and really hyper. And that does it for some people, and he had his moments. But like Michael Cera, though,
Hangover's great.
Hangover's phenomenal.
It's great.
It's phenomenal.
Hangover one.
Oh Jesus
Casino
Christ! I forgot about Goodfellas and Casino.
Braveheart.
But it's so hard to pick 5.
Inception was terrible, Kirk.
I didn't even know what the fuck was happening in Inception. I couldn't.
And you know damn well Kirk didn't know what was happening.
I could never even. I was not able to understand what was happening.
I remember Kirk tried to explain. When Avatar came out, he's like, "You got to go see Avatar." And I was like, "What's it about?" He's like, "There's trees." I was like, "And well, there's trees, and they're communicating with the trees." This is not the worst movie of all time.
The next one that comes out is going to be fantastic. I tried telling Nick about Avatar, but he wouldn't listen, Kirk. He didn't want any part of it. All he said was, "Aren't those people blue like Smurfs?"
The Wolf of Wall Street was sick too.
That was good.
I've only seen the first half of that. It's just a long fucking movie.
So there was trees, and then they would like connect to the trees. I could just see it now.
All right, we gotta end this. It's 11 o'clock already.
I know, but I'm having so much fun.
We'll talk about like best favorite TV shows.
We could do an entire episode just on this.
We probably could. I can talk about this forever.
Like we should do top 5 of all time, sports, comedy. We could do an entire 2-hour episode probably. But Nick has Nick has to smoke and take a piss, so he's real antsy.
And go get Taco Bell. That shit closes at midnight.
So, because
Taco
Nick has to go
Bell?
get Taco Bell. Nick has to go get Taco Bell. As always, hit like, hit.
I don't have anything to cheer you guys with.
There you go.
There you go. And we'll see you next week on the Locker Room Rant. Peace.
Cheers. Later, family. Peace.